All right, welcome to Mentor Forge Podcast. With this new segment I'm doing this fall, I want to start with a stat that I found out that's done through Indeed, which you can find on their website. Over half, meaning 52% of professionals experienced burnout in 2021, and it's up 21% since pre-COVID surveys. Obviously, COVID, the pandemic, really escalated this. One, I would say because of isolation, but two, which is another topic that I definitely want to hit on pretty soon. But I want to start with today is discussing how, in a business organization, can you give vision? And there's two sides to this, right? There's the vision for your company, vision for what you have for this employee. Maybe there's three sides, right? The vision you have for the employee, the vision for the company, and then also like helping the employee, people you are leading. How do you help them articulate their own vision for their own life and career? I mean, from that standpoint, first off, if you actually help them articulate more of what they have to offer or what they really want to see within the company, and even beyond that, man, they will go to bat for you. You know, especially if you're helping them, remind them, and also like you're honest with them. Like, hey, that vision of yours doesn't necessarily align with what really fits within this company. But I feel like we can, however long you want to stay here, we can develop skills that you may need that or really gain income for your family. But overall, I don't see us serving. That honesty in yourself, you just gave that, went up in that, especially a young person, young professional, the loyalty they'll have to you, the excitement to work with somebody. I mean, that's something I'm always preaching, like, don't look for your dream job, look for a place where you can learn and grow. And so I would always say, let's start with vision. Okay. Articulate, helping them. And then therefore, like, if they don't know their vision, help them ask the right question, give them time to reflect. Because some people come in and they know exactly what they want in the next 10 years, 20 years, where they want to be. A lot of people have never even taken the time to reflect on that. So I would say just by starting that conversation, getting them reflecting and thinking about how they want to impact their world around them, your culture, how they want to add value to others in their life and their career. And the next part, all right, what do you see the vision within the company, right? How does that then translate within why did you bring them on? How are you keeping them accountable to that vision? How are you articulating that to them so they know what success looks like? And that's all under the banner, of course, of the overall vision of the company that you have as a leader. Some of that's always, and so therefore those two things right there, how are you reflecting on those two things? The vision you have an employee and the overall vision of the company and organization. And then, so helping them as they articulate their own, you are thinking these other two, and it's how do those align up? And I think there's an ongoing conversation when you mentor an employee, when you really develop them, you are creating an opportunity. You're creating obviously an opportunity for collaboration. But you're also creating an opportunity for them to be utilized, for them to feel a level of like, I add value to this place because I know how to now. There's my people perish for a lack of vision. I mean, that's a Bible verse, right? I think there's something to when people don't feel that level of responsibility because they haven't articulated a vision for themselves, for their life, for their business, for their role within your organization. It just creates all sorts of lack, I should say. And I think that's why we're experiencing a lot of people burn out. They're just doing the rat race. I mean, and I think there's a small percentage of people that can just show up and grind and have no long-term vision. But I think most people are craving just a long-term vision and to have a employer, a boss, a leader in their life just to, for lack of a better term, give a shit, right? To care about where they're headed, to care about their role within the organization, that growth, and having a vision. So, and I always think we got to think about this in two ways here. Also, is I have worked for people that have overpromised and under-delivered in their vision for me, and I've had employers that thought they were dangling a nice carrot with a nice little vision for me, but it was pretty weak. So you got to like find that thin line with BSing them, but also like giving them something that is big, not necessarily unattainable, but something that excites them, something that excites you, that really moves the ball forward. If you give them like, hey, yeah, if you do this, 2 years you might have, or 5 years you might get a bonus. like that means nothing. So, I mean, we're finding more and more, right, that millennials, Gen Zers, they want purpose, right? We've all heard that. So, get in level, give it to them within your organization. It doesn't have to be something that's insane. We got, changing the world to, a couple extra dollars in the bank account, somewhere in between there, right? But I would say always, I encourage many employers, many leaders within an organization. It's like you can't BS them. You can't overshoot what you're trying to say here. You can't overpromise and then underdeliver, because that's going to create, if you give them something they can't achieve, or you give them something that you don't even think, you're just kind of throwing it out there, and you don't follow up with it, you don't really evolve it or change it even, right? But I think that's another thing about vision. When you're in conversation with people, when you're mentoring them, there's an evolving part to it. You adjust, you think, you provide a place for them to actually talk through it. And like, how does this person really fit better within their company? I talked to someone a few months ago where they actually decided to take a demotion within their company because they knew the role would fit them better, and they got more excited every day, and they therefore contributed more. And if you're able to articulate some of these things that, as you go, and you're willing to put the time into them, and it's not necessarily a lot. I mean, it could be once every 2 weeks just to check in. But it's a standard you're holding them to, as well as the standard they have articulated to you that they want to be at. I think that's where, if we think about vision, that is really what it is about. How are you holding them to that standard that you have mutually agreed on, and you're continuing to work towards that? And if it needs to be adjusted, evolve, then that's what needs to happen. And so I would say first step for any boss, leader, employer is, how am I mentoring my people? Start with vision. You'll be 90% ahead of the curve. And I swear, the loyalty that you will gain, the effort that will come from your people, and a lack of burnout that comes, is invaluable. And you'll see people really start showing up for you and experiencing, a higher level performance.